Welcome to Drummer's Paradise, a place for drummers to connect and get to know what drives their passion for groove. Please feel free to join our growing community by hitting that subscribe button and turning on that notification bell. Join us on all major platforms, Adam?
Yeah, that's right. It's all news to now.
Yeah, we got some good news. We're on Spotify now.
Yeah, we're on Apple Music.
There it is. So make sure you subscribe, join our social media, and a lot of content coming your way soon.
Absolutely.
Now, let's get into it.
Oh, T, you ready?
You know what? For this episode, believe it or not,
Yeah.
I think you're all in for a treat tonight.
You're all in for a treat. Today, joining us, we have one of Canada's top Ludwig restorers and collectors with a massive addiction, man. I'm telling you. Hailing from Pickering, Ontario, please welcome Mike Willerding. You might recognize this man from playing drums in the 80s band Russian Blue, which in the 90s transitioned into the band Feel. We are stoked to sit down with him and get to know what drives his passion for groove. But first, let's check out this video of him killing it on the kit.
Wow, Mike, that was killer, man.
Yeah, man.
I really enjoyed that. That was solid playing.
Yeah,
Thank you so
solid
much.
drummer.
Really appreciate it.
Nice kits, too.
Yeah, a set of DW tobacco sunbursts. Probably my second major kit, 24, 14 by 10, 16 by 16, 18 by 16, kind of the Tommy Lee, Dr. Feelgood video kind of kit, but just a beautiful drum set.
Yeah, nice. Now let's start off by getting to find out, where'd you grow up? Where's your hometown?
Hometown is Pickering. Lived there probably till I was about 27, 28. And a woman took me down to the States, the Carolinas.
There it is.
Yeah. So all the original band stuff kind of went away and moved down to the States and was there for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And moved back, been home for about 10 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Wow, that's amazing. What influences were in your life that got you into playing drums, and how old were you?
Well, the first thing ever happened in my life with drums was in public school, going with a friend to go chop firewood with his dad. And he loved barn snails. And we dropped into a barn sale, and there was a snare drum, bass drum, and maybe a hi-hat and a snare. And I begged his dad to lend me the money, so I asked the guy, how much do you want for that drum set? He goes, $5, and I started walking away, and he goes, okay, three. So I paid $3 for that, and that kit came home, wrapped in kind of a purple velvet. It was a crazy little kit. And from there, it just progressed. Christmas with my parents was 1 year grandparents' house, 1 year home.
Okay.
So 1 year at grandparents, came home to a huge box, and there was another drum kit, a set of silver tones, which probably blue sparkle silver tones. You probably don't hear those very often.
No.
And from there, it just progressed.
I did it, yes. Now, you brought some snare drums with you today. A whole slew of snare drums.
Yeah, like we're going to go to the 20s,
Yes.
the 30s,
Yes.
40s, 50s.
This is going to be
60s,
insane.
70s.
I can't
There's a gamut
wait.
here, boys. That's
Yes.
for sure. Yeah, there's a gamut.
Mike, why don't you take us through this journey today? Let's go through these snare drums and let's explain to everybody what these are, where you got them from, and a bit about their history.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So let's start with the 20s and 30s.
20s, 30s. So, every collector, I guess, along their way wants to find a really old drum. The shell was for sale, believe it or not, locally in Scarborough. I spotted this 13 by 3 Ludwig Tango. Only had the hoops and the shell. The throw off was non-existent, which is pretty crappy anyways. It's kind of just turn it with a screw rather than actually having a real throw off.
Okay.
So brought it home, hemmed and hawed on it, and said, well, we got to find some tension rods, which are thumb screws back in the day. And if you want me to demonstrate what a thumb screw
let's
is.
grab this
Let's grab
drum.
this beautiful
Okay,
drum and check it out here.
Yeah, toss it on the table there. Look how beautiful that is. And it weighs
is
nothing,
like,
everybody. This drum weighs nothing.
It's so light.
Let's get you in that microphone.
It actually had the gate for the snare, wires.
Let's get you in the microphone. There you go. Perfect.
Should we start over again, or we could? It actually had the upper and lower hoops. Had the little cutaway for the actual snare strings. And so I thought, well, we got to find what's original. And all the thumb screws with the collar clips were I found on eBay. One guy had 10 of them. I ordered them. Too much money probably. And so normally these come with about 4 to maybe 6. I wanted 8, so I found 8. And then, so basically it's a steam bent shell with 3-ply re-rings, and there's only so much room to get a throw off.
Right.
So I found a 60s piccolo throw off. You can see here. And literally there's no room for error for drilling. Like, it had to be perfect, or you're now starting to drill in the re-rings. So I added that and a 60s Ludwig butt plate. That's the original wood grommet through it with a bovid calfskin head.
Look at that head, eh?
I know.
You know?
That's amazing. Look at that thing.
With an old Slingerland slump on the bottom.
Wow.
You know, so
That's crazy. We
Yeah.
got to get that shot of that right there. Yeah. Wow.
there's the, Slingerland. There we go.
Wow.
Look at that.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
like really old. So I thought, well, you got to find a stand for that. You can't put it on a modern stand. And through my eBay hunts, I actually found a Ludwig Junior stand.
Let's
It's
check that out.
stamped Ludwig. Yeah.
Let's check this
Bring
out.
it up, my friend. So this is what they used to play on back in the day. You know, there's no rubber feet on it. They had to set up, use it as it was, you know, super lightweight. And because it was junior, there's probably a lot of kids that played on back in the day. It's not the full size senior stand. And what better for the 13x3? It just absolutely sits on there perfect.
You just get that seat there. Yeah. It's just sitting right there on the
Oh,
very
yeah?
edge. Yeah. Hate to see that thing fall.
There we go.
Oh,
Nice.
there we go.
Look at that. eh?
That
That's
is a beautiful
drum.
snare drum. And
Super
what
old.
year is that? That's
20s, 30s. It's called the Ludwig Tango.
The
It's-
Tango.
They call them piccolos today, but back in the day, they called them tangos. Yeah.
And it weighs maybe like,
A pound if
if that.
If that,
Yeah, it's insane.
all nickel hardware on the stand with the Ludwig stamp right through the center where the 3 arms come through. The Ludwig logo is stamped in it, so it's all original.
Wow. That is just
Yeah. Well,
beautiful.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us
Yeah,
today. That's
No
a
worries, boys.
And where did you find that again? Where did you?
The shell I actually found in Scarborough, Ontario. Believe it or
Okay.
not.
No way.
Believe it or not. The shell and the hoops. I restored the rest. Found the heads. Found the thumb screws down the States.
Okay.
But yeah.
And how long did that take you to fully restore?
If I probably put the man hours into it, probably 12, 16 hours, something
16
like that.
hours,
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, everything takes so much time.
It does, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just to find the parts too, right?
Yeah, the thumb screws, I couldn't believe I found them.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That's-
pretty unheard of. There is a company called Counter Hoop that sells a lot of old vintage hoops, hardware, stuff like that. And actually, that guy actually had the thumb screws for it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so Mike, we just went through the 20s there. What do we got coming up next?
So getting to 30s, 40s, we have a Ludwig Standard. It's a rare in the sense of being steam bent, single ply. It's all one piece of wood that they steam bent back in the day, adding maple re-rings to it. It's all nickel hardware, It has a Ludwig and Ludwig brass badge on it. And what makes it super, super unique is, as we know, most snare drums have on or off. So this has on, has medium on, and then all the way off.
Oh, neat.
So kind of a 3 position.
Yes.
It's a pretty rare. It's probably one of the rarest throw-offs. And this drum, I would bet my life on that throw-off all day long. It's the nicest throw-off I've ever actually dealt with.
It is really neat.
Has a leady calf head on it.
That is a wow. Look at that
Look
head,
at
T.
that. Yeah, that's
Super old calf head. Found it along
Wow.
its life. Obviously, it's not a leady, but having a really old calf original head is kind of cool. And has the original Snappy Snares wires on it that came back in the day.
Very narrow.
Can we just show the camera the badge inside? Like I think, look at the name on that. How cool
Yes.
is that? Where are we hanging today?
Yeah, so this drum came from Drummer's Paradise.
There it
and
is.
a lot of the
Yes.
old school drummers will probably remember that place.
Yes.
It was the place back in the day. This is from there, has the original sticker, date stamped. I believe there's a date stamp in it. Been a while since I looked at it. Actually, not date stamp, but the drum's about a 41, and it's 39 Queen Street East, Toronto, Canada. It has a 60s Rezo head on it. Pretty hard to find nowadays.
It's a nice
And the
cream color
original
too, eh?
Snappy Snares.
Yeah.
It was probably bright white back
Bright
in its
white
day.
back in the
You know,
day,
this
yeah.
guy like had tobacco stains and
Oh yeah,
bars
it's
and,
been through
you
the
know
ones.
what. But yeah,
The
Oh,
definite
yeah, I
pad
can
on
see
the
some
inside,
nicks in
too.
that. Yeah, that's.
it's just so old and cool.
So where did you find that?
This drum was found from a fellow Ludwig addict.
Okay.
He's this older guy down in probably Black Creek, Black Creek area. He doesn't deal with very many people, but once he trusts you, he'll let you into his little circle, and you can
Right.
kind of grab one of his old drums if you're lucky, because he never lets you in the house. He's
Okay.
got probably a hoarding collection. Who knows? Probably out of control.
Right.
So
like most collectors do.
He was willing to let this one go, so I was very appreciative of that.
Wow, that's really, really nice. That's a really nice snare drum.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that with us today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Mike, tell us about this snare drum that you have here. It's a beautiful case.
Well, thank you. These cases were somewhat rampant to be available to your average person. A lot of them didn't come with the elusive red velvet.
Oh, wow.
look at that.
That's sexy. Beautiful.
Very sexy. A lot of them just had the vinyl kind of this stuff that's on the side of it inside. So it's nice to find the red velvet. And so I got the case, and then along, of collecting, buying.
What year's is a good case?
The case is probably early 60s. You could get it to probably about 67, 68, something like that.
That's so
Look
nice.
at it, and it's still. It's
Once
in
you show
such
us what's
good
in it.
condition too. Like
And it's got the the yellow stop sign, Ludwig badge.
Yeah, look at that.
you could-
Right there, yeah.
Try to get there. It is. And
how about you show us what's in it?
Yeah.
so,
You do the honors.
along the life of collecting and buying, you find what they call the downbeat. So
the downbeat.
the downbeat Ludwig is a 14 by 4. They don't make that size anymore. I guess call it one of the earliest piccolos.
Okay.
And it has some very bizarre lugs on it that are kind of side swept. I'll pull that out. And what
Look at this.
what better to have red velvet than with
on.
red sparkle?
Oh, that's a
Come
sexy drum,
on,
eh,
look at
T?
that drum, buddy.
I can see you melting already. Look at you, eh?
Somebody's melting.
Yeah, that's T for sure. He loves that
Can
thing.
we throw that up there?
Yes,
Just
let's
put it
put it
up
up
there.
That needs to be just displayed for me.
Yeah. Look at
So
that throw.
to talk about this drum, it's an early 60s, probably 63. There are sciences for the serial numbers. You can get close. Nobody's actually perfect with it. But it is a 63. What makes it special to me is that it's all nickel hardware, not chrome. It has very distinctive lugs on the downbeat. They are sideways, and you can see one penetrates on one side,
Yeah,
one
that's
penetrates
neat.
on the other. And it's a 3-ply mahogany poplar, and then inside maple. And in 63, as we know, they started painting the inside of the drums. Ludwig, they went away from the natural finish.
Right,
So from a
white.
63 to 68, they were painting the insides. This one has the paint interior. It has the, what they call, let's see if we can see it there, baseball bat muffler, which if you look at the arm, looks
Yeah, it's
like a
neat. It was
baseball
on
bat.
this side earlier. It looks
I
cool.
love that throw off though.
Yeah, that throw is nice
Yeah,
too.
and
The
this
baseball
has
muffler.
red velvet. It's a flat pad. It's not a circle, so it kind of this rectangular red velvet comes up and touches the skin if you want to get rid of a little bit of the tones. And then it has the old school throw off.
Yeah, the
see
throw
that
off
there.
is nice.
Yeah, it's nice, eh?
Same
Yeah.
with
It was, you order stuff in from the States, you don't know what kind of condition it's in. I looked at it, I said, it's going to be like, it was like so minimal just kind of polish it and bring it back to life.
Right.
It was almost zero restoration,
It's a beautiful drum, nice and clean, shiny, sexy. Oh yeah, beautiful.
Nickel sexy.
Yeah.
Right,
What year is
nickel.
this one again?
63.
It's a 63.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow. Okay.
So tell us, Mike, what do we got coming up next year?
Well, we're moving away from the 60s, and 60s Ludwig drums were indicative of the Keystone badge,
Right.
ranging from when they transitioned from WFL drums back to Ludwig. They had a a transition badge, which was brass with blue lettering in it. Then they went to the pre-serial for 2 years, which means no serial number. It's the brass badge, and that's early.
Okay.
First painted interior Ludwigs. And from 62 to about 68, 69, they kept the Keystone, and then they moved to what they call the blue olive badge.
Right.
And super cool. Who uses blue and olive?
It goes well together now,
It
right?
sets it off completely different, right? So something from the 70s, which you don't see every day, is called a jazz combo. So it's a 13x3. It's chrome over aluminum. It's all original wires, heads, and case. I did a little modification to case so it wouldn't slop around inside.
Hey, right. Yeah. Better
And,
protect it.
So we
Let's
can
see
see
it.
the blue olive badge on the case.
Nice.
Nice.
Look at that.
Look at that, eh?
And then we can see my crazy addiction, put some foam in here so it doesn't move around kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's
You
got
can
it all
see
cut out perfectly so it doesn't move around in the
move.
hard plastic case.
This foam does not come with it. I added it, whatever. And this is the drum. And as you can see, it has the same lugs as
Look at the
the
badge on that. Just beautiful. Eh?
Oh,
That's fine. There it is. There's the blue olive badge. And first generation blue olive badges were pointy. Pointy in the top right corner and bottom left corner.
right.
And that's from around 1970 to pointy badge ended around 77, 78, 1978. So it being a jazz combo, it's kind of rare. It has the crazy lugs like the downbeat. It's 13-inch diameter rather than 14
Yeah.
by 3 depth.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got the old school throw off
That's a beautiful
and old
snare.
school butt plate.
Wow. And Drums Limited.
Drums Limited from
Yes.
Chicago.
So what's the story behind that sticker on that drum?
And I was going to take that sticker off.
What?
And then I looked into what that sticker was all about. So the gentleman who owned that company ran it through the early days, the 40s, 50s. This man used to build calfskin heads and put
Really?
the calfskin heads onto the drums way before, plastic drums that were. So the story is somehow he met one of the Ludwig family women and married into the family.
Oh, no.
Oh, here. Look at
So
this.
there's no way I was taking that sticker off. There's
No.
history between
Yes,
this man and actually
yes.
Ludwig.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the story.
Right.
There's the whole gamut. I won't get into it all, but that's the long story of it.
That's
Yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Neat,
that
man.
is the jazz downbeat.
That's a very, very nice drum. Wow.
It's beautiful. Good condition, too. eh?
Yeah, thank you. Original, like old, indicative of the 70s is the green Weathermaster 1000 dB head, and then the red logo Weathermaster snare side, Rezo side, with the original snappy snares. So that's pretty cool.
That is neat. Such a beautiful drum.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that out today.
Welcome.
Mike, this is a beautiful drum right here. Why don't you tell us a bit about it?
Thanks. So we've jumped a little bit away from the 80s and the 90s because not so much good stuff then for Ludwig, just saying. So come the 2000s, Ludwig started getting a lot better, making some really beautiful drums. This is a 2009. It's a 100th anniversary, 6.5 by 14 Ludwig Superphonic,
Beautiful.
100th anniversary badge.
Beautiful.
And I thought, well, it's kind of boring. It's you know, it's got the badge. It's kind of cool. It's got the regular throw off on it. So let's do something with it. And I found these in Ontario, believe it or not, Canada.
Really?
These die-cast 1970 hoops, which kind of look like spaceships. You know,
They are neat looking.
Yeah.
they're definitely different.
Unique, yes.
Very different. They are engraved Ludwig on the inside, the top area of the third flange. And I sent them out for nickel plating. Nickel over chrome kind of creates a different dimension to the drum, rather than just leaving them chrome.
That's true.
So all the imperial lugs are nickel plated. The hoops are nickel plated. And it has the first generation P86 throw off, which I think is super cool.
Yeah,
This is
Yeah, it's the same as mine. On mine, right?
same as
That's
on
right.
yours,
Yeah.
absolutely.
showed you
And
that.
this is the Alex Van Halen. He loves using those. Indicative of Alex Van Halen is the Emperor X. I love the Emperor X's.
Great head.
Yeah, it's a
Great.
great
You guys
head.
use them?
Yes, I've used
Nice.
them. Yep.
Sweet. And, you know, in tradition of the drum, it actually has the 100th anniversary Rezo head
And they
with
sign
the
it in there.
original
There's a
stamp on
signature
it.
in there, yeah.
You know, and through a friend, what makes this drum even more special, if you can go on any more about it, is through a friend I met Ludwig, William Ludwig III.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's the last generation of the Ludwig family.
Yes.
Now starting WFL drums, as we know, and has been for a while. And it actually has his signature on the inside.
Wow,
I'm not
that's
sure if you can see
special.
it, but it is signed by William Ludwig III.
Wow, we'll get some pictures later and post them up here.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we will for sure.
Sounds good. So that's the 100th anniversary, kind of a hybrid between the 70s and 2009, which was their 100th anniversary.
Very unique, amazing, nice, very drum. That's
Thank you.
Very, very cool.
It's amazing. I'm still on the Superphonic. I'm still like back there, you know.
I know.
You show me
All
so
these
far,
drums,
right?
it's
All
just-
these drums. It's so great. To,
Kid in a candy store, right?
100%.
Beautiful. All
Thanks for
right.
sharing that.
Let's jump on to the next one.
Very welcome, fellas. Thank you.
Awesome.
Mike, look at this case.
It's a crazy case, and doesn't it look old?
Yeah, it does.
It looks like something's really good in there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called the orchestral case,
Okay.
and you can actually still buy it today, believe it or not.
No way.
Yes, not as expensive as you would think, but but if it comes up from the States, everything's expensive, right?
Yeah,
So,
nowadays.
so I got this case for kind of like a special drum in mind, or vice versa. I always like to wrap the case with the drum.
Okay.
You know,
Smart.
and so I'm try to stay with my mic as I can. There's
And
the
just
inside.
grab it and then sit down.
There's the inside of the case. So I thought to myself,
Wow.
let's do something different.
Look at this drum.
This is a 2022 Ludwig Black.
Pull your
Beauty.
mic down, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Sorry.
Just so everyone can hear you.
Yeah. Not too versed in this.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great, Mike. Don't worry.
So this is a 2022 Ludwig Black Beauty.
That's beautiful. Look at that teeth.
Look at the hoops on that. Eh?
And what makes it special is I was able to find some 1923, 1924 Super Ludwig single flange brass hoops, and they are stamped
Wow.
Super Ludwig. I like to think outside the box
Crazy, man.
and put something together that like you just don't find every day. Like so, find like I actually had to buy the shell. I put something together, sold off the hardware and all that. So it actually has the original throw off.
Wow.
So instead of, there's no way I'm going to drill the shell. No. So I had custom keystones, water jet cut. I polished them, drilled them, tapped them, so I could attach the original throw off, which is here, onto the keystones.
Yeah, perfect. Smart idea. Yeah.
Something very, very different, you know?
Creative.
That's a one of a kind. You'll never probably find that again because nobody's as nuts as I am.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's in beautiful shape. Like
yes.
That drum is just.
So it has like the 1930s, 40s hoops.
Wow, Mike.
Modern lugs, modern tension rods, modern collar clips, but the original butt plate.
It's like a dark gray, like a really dark gray. Like what do you call that
black.
color?
It's nickel. It's black nickel over brass.
Black nickel over brass.
Yes.
Yeah,
It probably looks a little darker. You know, probably maybe a little lighter on camera, but that's the original butt plate from it. So it's a hybrid. It's like something really old with something really new.
Right.
And then I want to send it down to a gentleman called John Aldridge. He's an engraver. Do you guys know about John?
I don't know John, no.
So if you could picture the old Black Beauties, but that had, the actual wicked patterns scribed into them, this man does it today. It's all by hand.
Oh, wow.
And I'd like to get my favorite drummers put on this. Like say John Bonham above the ridge, and then like Tommy Aldridge just below.
Yeah.
So like every square with my favorite drummers,
their signature or something.
Yeah.
Like a replica of theirs.
Done in kind of the same lettering as the past from the
that's
past.
Nice. Look at that's beautiful.
So it's gonna be something, really old with new.
Yeah. Wow.
It has
Very
an old
unique.
orchestral head on it.
I was gonna say,
from
look
the
at the head.
60s.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like super old, and the 60s, and you can tell it's 60s because it actually says snare head. They don't do that anymore.
Not anymore, no.
Hey, you should know what it is by now, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, by
You
now.
probably should, right?
You should probably know what it is by now.
That's true, yeah. Beautiful.
So that's a crazy drum right there.
Look at
Amazing.
that. Let's take a look at that one last time there. Unbelievable.
Thanks, fellas.
Mike, tell us what's in this gorgeous bag.
So this is the heirloom bag. Some of the black bags I showed you previous were heirlooms. There is 3 generations of that. There's one that says since 1909.
Oh.
Pretty regular. Then I have harder to find. And you will not find anymore. The 100th anniversary heirloom bag.
Well, okay.
And it actually says 100th anniversary on it.
Oh, nice.
And this is the heirloom blue olive bag.
Beautiful bags.
Yeah. And what's inside of it is something that was produced in the 60s. It was used by Salesman to take drums around and show, hey, these are all the colors that Ludwig has right now. And there was probably more, but at the time, but pretty close to their most popular colors, right? So this is called the Salesman. Oh, we can show the bag first real quick.
Yeah, wow, look at that.
Look at
It's
that.
beautiful.
Blue
there
olive.
we go.
You gotta love blue olive.
Wow.
And inside that is a reissue. I do not have an original because if you have the original, you're a very wealthy man. This is the
No way.
14 by 6.5 reissue Ludwig Salesman. It has silver sparkle, gold sparkle, green sparkle, red sparkle, blue sparkle, back to green, black to blue, black to red, back to green, back to gold, and back to silver.
Wow.
There's a limited amount of these,
Okay.
But then there's the ones that are limited back in the day.
Yes, that are really limited.
And now those ones are, Yeah, those ones are worth the big dollars. But this is a super cool drum because there's only so many produced.
When did that one come out again?
I want to
It was a
say
reissue, right?
within the last 5 years.
Okay, all right.
Last 5 years.
Yes.
And did you buy that one locally or?
Bought this one locally from JD.
Oh, from our friends at Drumland.
Drumland, yes,
Nice,
absolutely,
perfect.
JD. And they just, with Ludwig drums, they just escalate in value and price. You know, they just keep
Yeah.
going up. So,
It's true.
you know, probably $1,000 drum is probably a $1,500 drum today. And somebody who really wants it might be a $2,000 drum.
Right? Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
So I just thought I'd bring something fun. You know, it's a wood drum.
Yes. What kind of wood is it?
It's maple.
Maple. Okay.
Yep. It's probably 7-ply. I don't even look into that in the new drums. But it's probably 7-ply. It has the original stamp on the inside of it.
The old Keystone.
And
yeah.
yep, and they reproduced the Keystone badge from the past. No serial numbers.
Yep.
You know, they don't keep track of that anymore.
Not anymore.
You know?
No.
Those days are gone.
Yep.
So all chrome hardware. The P88 throw off. This is the modern Ludwig throw off. I like it, but not as much as the P86.
Right. Yeah.
It probably works better, but I like the look of the P86.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yep.
neat. Cool. Nice
So that
drum.
is the Ludwig Salesman.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, those were some amazing snare drums. Thanks for taking us through that journey. Super cool, AT.
Yeah, that was just like the magic school bus.
Yeah.
The carpet. They all float on the
Snare
carpet.
drum. And we just went on a journey and just, I hope you all enjoyed that and got some education out of that and
Yeah.
some knowledge. That was really interesting. Thanks for sharing all that info.
You're
with
very
us.
welcome. You know, I'm a collector, but I'm one of many, many out there. Mm-hmm. There are some people that have some wicked collections out there of Ludwig stuff, even beyond me. What I like is I have a kind of a gamut, you know,
Right.
and a little bit of the unorthodox.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. So when did you start getting into collecting vintage drums? Walk us through how that began.
It started as I moved back from the Carolinas, probably about 12 years ago. I was gifted a set of drums from a good friend, Tama's. They didn't inspire me. And I saw some Ludwigs come up for sale, what they call the chrome over woods, cows, they call them. Which back in the day, Ludwig used to take real sheet metal, dip it into chrome,
Oh,
wrap it around the drum, and rivet it into the actual 6-ply shells.
neat.
And I own a set of those. They are incredible sounding,
does.
huge sounding drums. This is not the kit I bought, but to answer your question, this guy had some for sale, and I have a soft spot for chrome. And I went down, I picked them up, and brought them home. I said, "My God, these things are in horrible shape," you know. And that started my restoration. Well, I'm not going to let those suffer. I'm going to rescue these drums, you know.
yeah,
and
bring
I
them
brought
back.
them all back.
Beautiful.
And what I wanted to keep, I kept, and what I need to go out the door sold in a different fashion, and it sparked the whole addiction.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to restore those? Would you say years?
No, probably, you know, a couple months.
So you were focused.
You
yeah,
have to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to sit back from something and just look at it and go, "What am I going to do to bring this back?" Because the normal factions that everybody thinks about isn't practical. It has to be something a little bit outside the box. I've done that with quite a few drums, including a set of Slingerlands, a Slingerland kit I built. Started with a 6x6. 6x10 and 8x10 concert toms. Power concert toms, one-sided. And they were for sale in Peterborough. So I said, okay, $20, right?
We're going to Peterborough. We're going to buy them.
Let's make the drive,
that's right?
right?
Make the drive.
Make the drive.
trek.
He opens the door. I look at these drums, and they're absolutely destroyed. Like they're the chrome over woods. They're completely rusted. The bottom of the drums look like mushrooms. They're not even in round anymore.
No.
I looked at them, said, I made the trip. Here's your $20. And I left with them. So I looked at them. I took them to a couple of so-called experts. What do you want me to do? Cut them in half? I said, no. So I brought them back. I threw them in the garage. I said, you know what? They're going in the fire pit one day. I'm just going to burn them. It's,
Kindling.
it's going to be, I'm going to burn them. And then it dawned on me I was in the wood mill business, and selling and supporting custom wood mills. And I had a gentleman bringing me a solid piece of 1-inch maple that he planed down on his wood mill. And I custom cut re-rings for the bottoms of the drums that fit just slightly inside. Then I epoxied that in, clamped it with about 20 clamps, even on a 6-inch.
Look at you go.
And brought the drums back into round.
Wow.
You can stick a head on the bottom now.
Amazing.
So, Mike, is there a preference that you would prefer, chrome, brass, or wood in a snare drum?
It's funny you mention that. This 1940 standard I'd put up against any drum today, but not many of the wood drums, in my opinion, today I would play. So I would jump all over that if I could have that one drum. The Superphonics are chrome over steel. That's what Bonzo played. I've played chrome over steels before back in my day. Absolutely love those too. And then you have your Black Beauty, which is nickel over brass.
I love it.
Everybody, that seems to be the consensus,
Yeah, for me, I like it. Yeah.
Nickel over brass?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
black
prefer.
nickel over brass. So it's preference. I believe for me, it's in tuning,
There's a lot of it in tuning it. Skin.
Really cream the top head and cream the bottom head higher, and when you do that and set your wires nice and straight, nice and right, even if you have an average snare, it's going to sound good. So, but probably for me, probably the chrome over steels, believe it or not, the Superphonics.
You're right. You like the Superphonics. Yeah. Cool. So what advice can you give young aspiring collectors when they're getting into it, or even just any kind of collector? What kind of advice can you give them?
Well, I would say in the last year or two, I'm building a crazy 1940s top hat and cane quote replica kit. There are only 13 ever made.
Oh, wow.
They have actually graphics of a top hat, a cane, gloves, and musical notes. And I have almost all the pieces, not the original, not top hat and cane wrapped, but like year period correct pieces to put this kit together. And one piece I was missing, I found, and drove almost to the border to get it, and met this wonderful old gentleman. He's actually the father of the Tea Party's drummer.
Oh, okay.
And John Burroughs. And
Mr.
I'll never
Burroughs.
forget what he said. I think the key says, Mike, if you see it, I tell my grandson this. If you see it and you want it, you go get it.
Yes.
And that's the bottom line. If you hesitate, somebody else is going to grab that.
That's good advice. It's true.
So for me, it's been that. But thinking outside the box, not always just the norm. Some of my best kits have been stuff that have been neglected drums that I've reconditioned, and they've made some people very happy. And I'm happy that they're back, not rotting somewhere, getting played again.
Getting played, appreciated. Yeah. Wow, that's neat. Cool. So in your opinion, what do you think 3 rudiments are that every drummer should know?
The 3 rudiments. Well, I'm a rock pig on pig. I'm not a school drummer, even though I did take a little bit of lessons from Paul Robson, Neil Peart's, and I'm not saying I'm Neil Peart, teacher. And I also had a wonderful man, Frank May. Some may know him. He actually invented this pad called the Frank May Fast Hand Pads.
Okay, not familiar.
So I did have some rudiments back in the day.
Right.
But for me, I'm not sure if there's any one particular rudiment. There's the I guess the flam paradiddle diddle, which Bonzo used a lot in his opening stuff, is one of my favorites.
Okay, yeah.
And after that, I'm going to leave it up to anybody else.
Right, just like double stroke rolls, single stroke rolls, paradiddles,
Five
5 stroke rolls, 6 stroke rolls.
Yeah.
Nice.
For me,
And flams.
when I played by feel, heavy, tried to leave the spaces in the right places.
Right, yeah.
Nice turnarounds, not tasty, something that people can latch on to. So that was kind of my style.
Right, nice. Yeah, room to breathe, right?
Room to
musical groove.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
So, Mike, what single piece of advice can you give a drummer when it comes to identifying badges on snare drums and identifying the year of the drum? Is there any tips you could give?
There are tips, and the best tips, it's amazing that people, we're in the land of the internet, and you would think people would latch onto that. There are specific searches if you want to find out years of drums. And I can speak for Ludwig mostly. Yes, I know there is for Slingerland and Gretsch. That's probably the top closest in the vintage in the past. And it will show you every badge, roughly the years. Now, one thing about all that is there's no science. It's close because once Ringo and once John Bonham, got involved with Ludwig, the sales went absolutely out of control.
Everybody was playing.
Ludwig couldn't keep up.
Yeah, for sure.
The reason that the drums are painted from 62 to 68 is because they didn't have time to finish the inside of the drums. That's why they're painted.
Oh, wow.
But some people want the painted drums. I want the drums that are not painted on the inside.
Yes.
Because that shows me they took the time, right?
Yes, that's true, yeah.
So, and on the other hand, because they were in such a crunch to get drums out the door, the badges would be in boxes. They weren't grabbing, this number goes right beside this number, this number. Just
grabbing out of a box.
It's going to be roughly the year, roughly the month, within 3 or 4 months, maybe 5. And they're going to stick that drum badge on there.
Yeah.
So there's no science. There's close.
Right.
And people have a rough idea what's going on.
Yes.
But as far as to a dead science with Ludwig and probably even the other manufacturers from the 50s, 60s, 70s, there's probably no science, but it's close.
Yeah, there's websites out there that you can actually type in the serial number and it'll give you that range of when they're roughly manufactured. I went through that process when I was going to buy a Ludwig kit just to check it out. And it's interesting. It's really neat actually just to go through and see because it'll tell you when, the year the badge has changed.
Yeah,
that as well. Down. Yeah, it really does.
It's cool. There. It's there. Like I said, it's not a science because you'll see all of a sudden, like I mentioned, the pointy badge, blue olive, it is actually pointed in the top right and left bottom corner.
Right, come into
Well,
a point.
then they transition. The word was,
then they made it round.
This was getting caught on people's clothes. They were bending the badges.
Is that what it was?
This is retarded. If you bend your badges on your drum, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Sorry. So then they went to the round-eared badge, and that's indicative of 79 and on.
Right. Yeah.
To maybe 83, 84. Then they went to the back to the Keystone with the Monroe purchase of Ludwig in North Carolina.
Right.
So, but I've seen some late serial number pointy badge that should not even be there, and vice versa, round ear going back years, a couple of 3 years that should not be round ear.
They're mixed.
So there's some real discrepancies, and all the Ludwig guys know that.
Yeah, okay.
They know that.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Wow, cool. So you've brought some music video for us to check out today of an old band you were in called Feel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so why don't you describe that recording of that song and the that period of your life and maybe just, segue into that music video.
That was a great time. We were, as Russian Blue in the 1980s, yes, we had long hair, but we were not a hair band. Yes, we're a hair band, but, to go on the extreme, like not on the Poison side, like more to the Zeppelin-y, heavy side.
Yeah, okay.
That's what the band felt. That's where we grew up with, and I know a million guys have said that, right?
Right.
So then we, come the late 80s, we started writing a little bit darker, heavy music. Just, you start to change things, feel the music gets different, and we started writing some darker music. We even had people, we play the Gasworks, and we come off, hey, what was that one song?
Legendary.
What was that one
venue,
song? The Gasworks. Oh my God. I miss that place so much.
Oh yeah.
My favorite place to play. And so we started going down a little bit down the darker path with music, and lo and behold, grunge hits, and we said, well, we're kind of on this path. you know, and we just kept going down that run, you know, into the heavy stuff. We shot a full $15,000 video that our manager pulled strings for about $5,000, full independent CD.
Oh, wow.
We toured.
Fun.
We were played on Much Music. If anybody remembers Teresa Roncon.
Oh, yeah.
She interviewed us.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And that's kind of the history.
Got to live the life a little bit. That's
little
fun.
bit, yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. So let's check out this music video now.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
We'll be right back.
Still water, cold and running deep. Trickles down, it's washing out my muddy feet. Here you wanted to try to find some way, change the things we've done, split my mind in two. Crystal clear, innocent deceit, sadistic way to wash away what you're believing. Someone said to you, you've been dropping lies, cool and vicious tongue, breaking all my ties. I don't know you, can't control you, held a gun to what was once true. All I've been through made me into what you wanted. I become you.
Well, Mike, thank you for making this episode so much fun.
That was awesome.
I truly enjoyed it. Hey, Adam?
Oh, it was so good. So good. Kids and Candy Store, right? Like, oh, my gosh.
You guys were awesome. I really appreciate you guys having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming. Really, it means the world to us.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
And if anyone's interested in checking out more of any of his vintage stuff, we're going to post some links below to his socials so you can check it all out.
Yeah, definitely hit Mike up, eh?
Yeah, I definitely hit him up for sure.
Appreciate that, fellas.
Yeah.
And until next time, everyone.
Keep grooving and have fun.
And remember to hit that like and subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. And check out our Spotify and Apple Music.
Hit those drums hard.
Oh, yeah. See you next time.
In paradise.
I